Your new record's doing really well.
Thanks.
You're disproving the notion that some music critics like to advance, that American Idol really isn't about music and certainly not about success after the show is over. But it's a difficult segue to make. And it occurs to me, I mean, you've got these high-profile folks on that, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, Pink. There's the Linda Perry, rather, you work with, and Pink on this record. But you had to make this record really quickly. How do you feel about not being able to take a breath and sort of say, all right, who am I? What is my music? What do I want to be? The way most artists get to take before their debut album. I mean, you've been in this whirlwind, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a really interesting challenge. I think in some ways, on the good end of it, it's the momentum didn't die. You know, I got off the show, immediately started writing and working with producers, did the tour, continued recording during that, and then finished it the 2 months after the tour and put the album out. So there's really no chance for me to think too hard. It was kind of like, just go, take action. And I think that there's something to be said for that, the momentum of that. But yeah, on a creative, kind of conceptual level, you know, it is hard when all of a sudden you're like, I don't really have time to think about this. And there was a point where I was like, I'm having an artistic identity crisis. I don't know what I want to do. And I made the decision. I said, you know what? I'm going to follow Idol as like a model for this album. And on Idol, I tried to create as much variety as possible. I had different looks every week, different sounds, different, you know, I would go from a ballad to a complete over-the-top, really loud, insanely high rock song. So what I wanted to do was reflect that in my album and have it just be a variety platter of different styles and sounds.
How do you walk that line? How do you think about it, of walking the line between American Idol product and Adam Lambert artist?
I just tried to stay true to the things that I like about music as a listener. You know, I wanted to nod to all the classic rock stuff that I did on Idol and not disappoint those fans. But then I wanted to somehow fuse it and blend it into contemporary dance pop, which is the kind of stuff I actually listen to more of nowadays than classic. So I don't know. It's, you know, a subjective thing. Maybe I did it right. Maybe some people would criticize it, but I'm pretty happy with the blend on the album.
I love the blend of your background too. You're this, people think of you as this glam pop guy. Your dad was a Deadhead, right? And that's where you got your classic rock shop.
Yeah, and he was also a college DJ. So there was like a huge vinyl collection in my house growing up. I was exposed to a lot of music in the 70s. My mom, like a big Al Green fan, a lot of the more like soul kind of stuff. And yeah, I mean, if it hadn't been for them, I don't think I would be as familiar or fond of that era.
The album certainly highlights this blend, this diversity we're talking about. It's got, you know, it's like an upbeat dance record at times, and then it's quite soulful. There's this great ballad that you worked with Muse on, the song Soaked, that I want to get to. It's my favorite currently. One of the songs you co-wrote, called Strut, begins with you singing, I want to start a revolution. What kind of revolution do you want to start?
You know, I'm not sure it has a name yet. I think, if anything, I think it's just reviving the sense of freedom of expression and diversity and all the things we were talking about, like the city, for example. I think that in the 70s, why I'm so fond of that era is that the music was just sexy and fun, and people were partying and loving each other. And of course, things in the 80s changed that. We had, you know, certain political administrations and the AIDS crisis and the war on drugs, and everything changed in society. But that spirit of rock and roll, that spirit of love, sex, and all that's in between it, I don't think it should die. And I actually think a lot of artists are kind of bringing back that decadence right now. And so it was really important for me, especially on a song like Strut, which is grounded in like kind of a glam rock shuffled style beat. It was important for me to put that energy into that song. And that song in particular talks about letting it all hang out, owning it, feeling comfortable in your skin, and only then are you going to be able to find the love, and you're not going to be by yourself. Only then are you going to find that person.
So the revolution is a return to a liberation that you perceive of the 70s?
Yeah, in many ways. But with what we've learned since then, and my biggest thing is have fun, be free, don't hurt yourself or anybody else in the process. So there's that, a responsibility to your own health.
A lot of people would argue that it wasn't easy to be out as a gay man in the 70s.
That's true.
Not that it's easy now necessarily, but you've never denied your sexuality. In fact, you came out on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine this past summer. And when you were talking to me last last time, we talked about what you call the double standard toward overt gay male sexuality and entertainment. We were talking about the Britney Madonna kiss at the time. Do you feel that your being out, or the extent to which you are, is a revolutionary act?
Well, I mean, I don't want to like toot a horn or anything like that, because I know there's a lot of people that are part of this movement. I'm not the only one, but I think that it is helpful to be visible. I think that is the first big step. And because of American Idol and being such a big platform and having so many viewers, my visibility is pretty high. And so I think that my responsibility, as far as this movement is concerned at this point, is just owning it and just being comfortable with it and not apologizing for the fact that I am a gay man and that I'm a younger gay man and I am sexual. And I think that what happens is, in the media right now, we finally have visibility, but it's a cliche of a homosexual man, which is like, I'm just like you. I just happen to have a male partner, but I'm just like you. I'm just like you. I'm the gay next door. And I just happen to be a hairdresser, and I'm very nice, and I'm a good cook, and I'm very domestic. And it's this cliche that keeps getting perpetuated. And luckily, it's letting people be more comfortable with the idea of what gay is and identifying as being gay. But the minute you show gay, or the minute you're an alternative, slightly more aggressive or over the top gay male, it freaks people out. So I just hope that in this movement of there being visibility for the gay community, that there's visibility of all different types of members of the gay community. We're not one guy. We're lots of different people. Just like the straight community isn't one dude.
Well, on the new single we just heard, "What Do You Want From Me?" you say at one point, "I'm a freak." Mm-hmm. Do you think of yourself as a freak?
In the fondest way possible, yeah. I feel
an affirmative freak,
yeah,
a good freak.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's an endearing term. I like to play dress up and wear eye makeup and wear crazy clothes and dance and sing on stage for a living. I mean, what I do isn't typical. It isn't your guy next door.
But what about people in the gay community who would say, why are you're advancing the idea that gay equals freak?
Well, and I think that there's a generational divide as far as that's concerned, because I think some of the older members of the gay community, they feel like, okay, the only way we're going to progress and be accepted, especially in the political situations that we're in right now, is if we are non-threatening. And we are just like everybody else. And I respect that, and I agree with it as far as some of the political things go. But I'm an artist. My job isn't to be the poster boy for normal, quote unquote, gay lifestyle. I'm a performer. I like adventure. I like meeting new people. I like going to clubs. I like staying out late, staying out all night. I like that spirit of rock and roll, and I just so happen to be gay.
It's almost hard to remember a time when we didn't know Adam Lambert, but it's happened pretty quickly, right? I mean, it's only been this year.
It's crazy
for about a year. You were on Oprah last week. It was just a year ago that you were auditioning for American Idol.
Yeah.
What is it like to be dealing with this level of fame at this point?
It can be overwhelming at times. I mean, I'm not like, an expert at all. It's been an interesting journey. It's been fun. It's been exciting. It's been challenging. There are moments where I go, whoa, and I get overwhelmed and I have to kind of like breathe. But luckily, I think I'm a little bit older than some of the other contestants that go on the show. I'm about to turn 28, so I'm like right at the end of that little bracket of
ancient
age. I'm so old. And But compared to some of the other contestants,
you have life experience.
I have a little life experience, and I've traveled a little bit, and I've also lived in LA for the past 8 years, which allows you to kind of see the entertainment industry from the sidelines. So I think some of it I'm a little bit immune to. I'm not as shocked and I'm not as green as some of the other contestants that come on the show. So that's helped, and I'm really thankful for that.
You